Bitch, you know the scope is murder when I'm crossing through your fucking hood. Bullies with them bullies, making the set is still up to no good. Bring the pump, leaving the body inside of the trunk. You better get slumped, make a little body and leave it in chunk. Slow to the phone, rolling on the west side, jumping out the whip with a full clip, then I let it bust with a deadly touch, getting buck as fuck. Don't get stuck by the devil's son. Curse and burn by the flames, this ain't in the range, I'm bringing the pain. Locked in the brain, I don't give a fuck. Hanging myself and cutting the vein. It's a stick up, my chopper do the hiccup. Pull up with a quete and 5 prices in the pickup. Long hair dragon with the silverback gorilla. Keystone the prince down south to North Khalifa. Ain't shit change, walking around with my teaser. Homies keep the thing, Cholo trying to get that visa. Swiping, no swiping, MasterCard or the Visa. Simon getting slime, fuck boy, it's a season. I'm ready to die for Trump.
Hello, everybody, and thank you guys so much for being here. I do things a bit different over here. It's gonna be, a bit more lax, and because obviously there's a smaller group here, that way we can kind of get through this information. The reason why, and I wanted to wait until the stream, because what I'm going to do, instead of presenting this information twice, I am going to basically edit this and then release that onto YouTube next week. There will be some things that are cut out, but I did receive a comment and was able to find it that someone took all of the stuff that I presented and put it onto 4chan the day before I went live and did the presentation for a second time. And I found the 4chan post, so I'm not happy and I have no idea who it is. I can't prove who it is either, but if anybody gets a subscription and immediately cancels because this did happen last time, or they gift it to somebody else because this did happen last time, you will be banned and you will lose your money. Sorry. I don't ask people to hit like, I don't ask people to share my work, and this is the only time that I have really pressed about people giving me credit for this, only because I have worked so hard. What we are going to do today is we are going to get into the rest of Candy's family, and hopefully you guys have the little mind map family tree PDF that I made. That way you guys can see it. The first thing that I would like to go through, I tried to figure out the best way to organize this, and again, because we're over here on Patreon, it's really difficult to organize these things, but I want to show you guys first things first. That way we're kind of going in order. So the first thing is, if you've been on my ex, you've seen some of this stuff. A sticking point in Candace's narrative is that her parents got divorced when she was young. We've read this over and over and over again. Well, it would turn out that that's a lie. And I'm sorry, but there's been too many sins of omission here. So, this is from the State of Connecticut Judicial Branch Superior Court Case Lookup, Evelyn Davis Owens versus Robert Owens. So, this was filed in November of 2016. Case information, dissolution of marriage in Stamford, and obviously it was approved uncontested, and the wife, her mom filed it. Evelyn Davis Owens, plaintiff, filed November 14, 2016. Robert Owens' dad, he was the defendant, obviously, and that's 2017. There you go. Bada boom, bada bing. So this is everything. Case management agreement by March of 2017. Now, hopefully you guys can see that because I've maxed this out on my screen. But that's just another sin of omission, okay? Because she was almost 30 years old when her parents got divorced. So why are you lying? I don't know. I Look, man, I'm not telling people that you guys can't like Candace because there's a lot of people that think that I'm saying that you can't like Candace. I'm not saying that you can't like Candace or that like I'm going to judge you for liking Candace. People can watch and like whoever they want. I can also clap back. Okay? It goes both ways. We're all independent people with our own, free will and thoughts. And this does not align with the narrative of coming from a broken home, growing up poor, and that makes her some edgy fucking conservative. You dig? Because I think that it's a crock of shit. Because we're not going to go super deep into her husband today, but we are going to touch on a couple of things because, her husband seems to be kind of a scumbag too. This is just my opinion, and exactly, it is not a cult here. Let's go ahead and let's get into the next article. I definitely overlooked this one last time, and I'll tell you guys how I got here with this article in particular. So I was talking to Echo Cat, and we were discussing, Scientology and this whole turning point thing. And there's this separate group that eventually I would like to discuss with you guys after, I clear it with him because, I mean, that dude's a bloodhound, but it's called ZAP. And it's out of New Zealand, originated in Christchurch, and they are here in the States right now at Turning Point events, which is really odd, right? This is a completely separate thing from Scientology, but it is part of Scientology, but they go by ZAP. Obviously, I think the name is very appropriate. But in hearing the name Christchurch, I just decided to kind of go back and dig in because many of you will remember that there was that shooting there quite some time ago. I think this was, 2019? Well, we get to hear from Grandpa. He wasn't really happy with the things that she had to say. This is from the Daily Mail. Family of right-wing firebrand Candace Owens says laughing in a post about the New Zealand mosque massacre is not how she was raised after gunmen said she influenced him above all. Candace Owens' grandfather, Robert Owens, tells the Daily Mail that her laughing at the New Zealand mosque massacre was not proper. We're not going to read this little bold highlight thing because it's going to go deeper into it, but this is from March 15th of 2019 by Louise Boyle. The family of right-wing firebrand Candace Owens told Daily Mail today that laughing at the massacre of 49 people at a New Zealand mosque was not proper and not how she was raised. Her grandfather, Robert Owens, told the Daily Mail, "This is the first time I'm hearing about this, but this is not my granddaughter's behavior. Why would she be laughing at it? That doesn't seem proper. She is a religious person and we taught her. She has family all over the world. Indeed she does. Members of our family and her grandmother's family are all over the world in many nations. We just don't do that. We're not that type of people. I know how she was raised and the things we taught her, and no, that's not our character. We had a lot of influence on her life as a child, and we try to be close to our grandchildren." I don't really care about this dude's alleged manifesto, but here is her post that allegedly the shooter wrote about her. Don't really care. Not really the focus. There's a very young Candace with her grandfather. It's obviously a very sweet photo, but let's continue. Oh, and look, there's the photo that Dad shared of her being in the White House. Oh, look, we've got Brian Koberger over here looking freaking jacked. That's ridiculous. Sorry. Okay. I don't care about her tweet about this shooting. I'm mostly fixed on what her grandfather has to say. I don't know too much about it because I don't follow the news as closely. From time to time, when I find that she's on, I try to listen, he said. But if people know her way of living, it tells you that she is very flexible in her views. Sometimes you can say things and be taken the wrong way. I was a very good follower of Martin Luther King. I listened to him, and some of the things he said I disagree with, and then some of the things he said it brought tears to my eyes because I knew it was so true. Sometimes she might come over to some people one way in some of the things she's saying. I've listened to Donald Trump, and some people hate what he says, and I listen and dig out of the history of America and say, you know what? Donald Trump was right. But I loved JFK and Bobby K. I loved those Kennedy boys. It brings tears to my eyes that they're dead. He added, I want to emphasize to you, Candace is not that type of an individual. She was brought up with all kinds of people, and they were all in my yard playing with her. Mr. Owens recently returned to North Carolina, where he was raised after selling his home in Connecticut, where he ran a dry cleaning business for 35 years with his wife Nola, who passed away in 2013. I sharecropped on this farm, and I bought the land. That's the difference in life. I bought it from the man that I sharecropped with, he said. Mr. Owens said that his family and his wife's family had connections all over the world and had mixed heritage. A lot of my family is American Indian, Black Americans, White Americans, Koreans, and Chinese. My wife's brother spent many years in Nigeria and many different countries preaching. Candace herself is international. Candace is in the middle and she can accept everybody. That's the way she was brought up from a child. She was brought up in a predominantly white neighborhood and people told us not to move up there because we weren't going to be accepted. I'm from the South and I was born and mostly raised in North Carolina and I know how it was. My father was attacked by the Ku Klux Klan back in the day and he put me under the bed because of all the bullets that were coming into the house. When I peeped out, I saw was people in black clothes and riding horses. Naturally, I grew up wondering who those people were that were riding those horses and shooting at us. It happened, but it didn't make me try to teach my kids to be that way. They are just like Candace. They have white friends and black friends. And there is the shooter. Now, this is very interesting. Mr. Owens said that he was on the fence when it came to politics. I'm very split when it comes to voting, he said. Sometimes I listen to the Republican guy and I don't disagree with him, and sometimes I listen to the Democrat and I might disagree. He said that when he was starting his business, he attended an event in New York where Donald Trump was the speaker. I'm a very liberal person, and there's a lot of people say bad things about President Trump. I met him 40 years ago. He came into the place and he said something that didn't go over too well, but at the end of the day, we were all shaking hands, laughing, and talking. Some look at him as a very serious conservative, and some look at him as a very serious racist. But that's not him. I'm not an average Democrat and I'm not an average Republican. I'm more neutral. I can see the good side of some things and I agree with him, and some things I don't agree with him. Mr. Owens said that he was proud of his granddaughter but worried about her work. I think that all of that is very fascinating. There we have, what is that guy's name? I think it's Officer Tatum on the left. We're going to be getting into him. I think it's real weird that they only identify Donald Trump Jr., but they don't identify dude on the left. We may find out why. And just so I can show you guys, that way we're not omitting anything. These are all the people that were pushing back against Candace when she said this, that it was in poor taste, which, you know, whatever, because of the timing. Talking about some of her other tweets at this time, another aimed at French President Emmanuel Macron again warned against the declining birth rate. When questioned about what she was laughing about in the tweet, Owens replied, white liberals attempting to beat black conservatives into submission with absurdity again. So it seems like she's been picking on the Macrons for quite some time. And again, I'm not saying that dude doesn't look like he has a set of family jewels, talking about, or woman talking about Kanye, talking about her saying that Hitler probably would have been fine, whatever the fuck she said. I have no idea. I don't really care. And here talking about, they always call it turning points, but right here with her fiance, George Farmer. So obviously, Grandpa kind of disagrees, right? Her backstory is written by a teen after school special writer. Well, I mean, it's like she grew up in a white neighborhood, according to Grandpa. It wasn't the hood of Stanford, girl. What's a shitty apartment to you? Why are you saying that your dad wasn't in your life and that your parents got divorced when between the ages ranged 9 to 12? Do you think that these things validate you more? Why do you need to lie? Now, how am I going to get through the rest of this? Ugh, we got a lot to get through. I'm going to give you guys a choice. Do you guys want to see photos first that you've probably never seen before? Or would you like to start with the presentation? Because guess what? I found Dad's Instagram. And there is, first off, he's a total like single boomer out here trying to get Liz Aid, which is hilarious. And he seems to be looking for the snow bunnies. That's all I'm saying. I could be wrong, but there are a lot of photos. So if you guys want, we can do the photos first, because at least that's a little bit of reprieve before we get into the full family tree. So what I did is I basically threw all of these together into like a giant PDF. That way it's easier. And I didn't take every single thing out of here, okay, but I did take a lot. That way you guys can see, and you can also just see like what kind of boomer he is. And again, your family did these interviews, okay? Your family provided this information. This is not a state secret. It's unfortunate that you felt the need to lie about the public and your past because sans the Sandy Hook thing, I don't really see what the big deal is, quite frankly. But I mean, what do I know, right? Because I mean, when you look at dad, might be something boule. I don't really know. I'll leave that up to you guys to determine. So let's see if we can get this going. So this is her dad's Instagram, and there he is traveling to Virginia, going to my daughter's wedding. I just love how I'm going to Candace Owens' wedding. And look, oh look, her entire family was there. Why do people think that her family was not in attendance at her wedding? George Farmer, I'm not gonna lie, it looks like he knows that the queen is going to chide him for getting a little bit too close to the help, if you know what I mean. I'm sorry, it's just the look on his face is kind of ridiculous. But there is her father, and there is her sister Brittany, and this is Ashley, and this is Gavin, and I believe that this is Brittany's husband Dante. I haven't totally nailed that down. This is the guy with the Candy Hook song, right? His brother. But very beautiful photo, except for George's face. But there is my kids and my son-in-laws. And there she is with her sister. Again, very beautiful photo. My beautiful daughters. And I have no idea who is doing the rehearsal right here. Kind of looks like John Mappin from a distance. It's very, very fuzzy. But there is practice rehearsal August 31st, 2019. And just his stories with the music. But I just, he's a dad. Whatever, man. The guy can be sus and it still be he's just a really proud boomer dad. And again, I'm sorry, George's face, like, bro, work on your poker face. You look so uncomfortable. It's not even funny. And wishing her a happy birthday, which we do now know, according to her father, that yes, April 29th would be her birthday. There they are again. Very sweet photo. I mean, she doesn't seem to hate her dad, right? Doesn't seem to hate her dad. There they are. Again, this was from 2021. And there's another photo of them, 2018. And here's another photo. So him, what does he say? My two oldest daughters in St. John. So remember the Facebook photos that we looked at from Grandpa's page? I believe that this was from the same trip. And they are very young right there. Sorry, girl. This doesn't really match what you've told everybody. I think that this photo is very sweet. I think I love old people. I think her grandpa's cute. But my dad and his teenage granddaughters, I made him girl granddad, okay, 2024. And there's granddad and her sister at her sister's wedding. See, look at all these photos that are out here once I figured it out, right? Isn't that amazing? And there it is again at the wedding. Ah, amazing. Oldest daughter's wedding photo. Oh, look, there's Candace with her two sisters, right? My daughter's wedding, 2018. There's Candace and her sister, and old Gavin with the Sandy Hook song over here. My two daughters at the Yankees game. How you go to a baseball game without dad a week before Father's Day. Shaking my head. LOL, LOL. 2017. Total boomer. Total boomer. There he is with both sisters. They were both pregnant. Talking about in March 2020 that they would be born. And there they are with Grandpa. Obviously, that was before Grandpa passed away. So 2019. Someone had brought up another sibling of hers. We have two siblings that are out on the loose. This is allegedly one of them. My oldest son, Lonzel, haven't seen him since he was 8. No clue. Haven't figured that out. He will not identify who this woman is. Is this Candace's mother? I have no idea. No clue. Very beautiful, though. Very beautiful. But no identification on her. And this, because this will obviously become relevant as we go through the family tree, this is Mama Nola and Nola's baby sister, Luna Nibsfrat. Oh, look, I was totally right with my fucking genealogy. Imagine that. And here is Dad at the Right Tech class reunion 2017. And there he is. To see what I'm talking about? Single boomer. Okay. Just got a pedicure, eyebrows, and haircut for the weekend. My B-Day week. Famous people born this week: MLK, Ali, Carol, and Troy Owens Jr., and Robert Owens Jr. So I have the right Robert Owens. Thank you. And there is also a very sweet older photo. My dad and his sister, 1981. He was the real George Jefferson. Oh, and look, remember the aunt that I showed you last time, the realtor? This is literally what the profile says. Veronica A. Owens from Stamford, Connecticut. Like, what do you guys want me to do with this information? What am I supposed to do here? That's her with her old man. But this post I put down here at the end for a reason, because dad came to Arizona, it looks like 2013. Is that an exact timeline? I don't know. But now I know. Why he came? Well, again, I have no idea, because someone did bring up a valid refutation. It wasn't really a refutation. They just said that it was something that didn't track, was in regards to why her father would take an entry level job. I'm not going to put out someone's arrest records that are not felonies, violent crimes, embezzlement. If it was like some shady ass white collar crimes, that would maybe be a different discussion. But like, I'm not here to air out people's dirty laundry. Public records are public records, but to me, that makes sense why that would be an entry level job. I'm not going to say anything else about it. People can go find it. I don't really feel the need to do that, and I don't really feel good about it because I don't think that it's relevant to the story. No, I don't think that his face is a nice smile for a wedding photo. He looks very happy when he's just with Candace, but in the photos with her family, he looks very uncomfortable. And so I just think that that's like super shady. And yeah, of course, Candace is beautiful. I think that like her sisters are beautiful. They're all beautiful. Black don't crack, baby. Let's keep it one hundo, okay? Black don't crack. So like, yeah, they're all beautiful. That doesn't mean that I don't think that she's shady as fuck. That doesn't change anything. You'll see. I'm gonna make it make sense, because this tree is really complicated. The tree is really complicated, and you're gonna understand why it's complicated here in a second. Over here, so hopefully you guys noticed that the arrows, I colored them to line up with who is the parent of who. So over here, we kind of have this odd duck, right? We have Henrietta Blyden, Abraham E. Blyden, don't have a death date on her, and we have two children from Henrietta and Abraham, and that is Alfredo and Esther Angelina Blyden Matthias, who was married to Stanley Newton Matthias, who I have also not been able to find a death date on. Alfredo, which I'm not sure that that's actually his real name. I'm still trying to figure that out. These are the only two children that they had together. Now, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Well, what it has to do with it is that, sorry, I hate to say it, but there seems to be a bit of incest going on here, because there are no records and they both had the same last name without getting married. Until I can find official records showing otherwise, there's really nothing that I can do about it. And quite frankly, it's also not really my problem. We have Abraham Blyden, birth year about 1883, St. Thomas. Now, this was something interesting that Echo Cat had pointed out right here. Radio set, no. Able to read and write, no. And I'm not talking about them not being able to read or write. It's just a different time. So Abraham is 47 at this time. The spouse is Estella Henley. And then we have Alfredo, 25, Edward, Habor. We'll get into Habor's full name, and Joseph. Now, when you look up the mother, Henrietta, this Nino, Edward, unknown mother, unknown father. Well, guess what? There's unknown parents for Abraham E. Blyden too. This is that she was born roughly in 1884. This is an estimate based off of information that's provided on these passenger lists, and I don't really understand how they came to that conclusion. But two kids, Esther, Alfredo. That's it. And she goes to New York. And I haven't been able to find her in New York. But right here, she is 17 years old, so roughly 1884, Tortola. She's working as a servant, but she's single. She's unmarried. So was Abraham. They never got married. So if that is the case, I'm not here saying anything to besmirch anybody. I'm just showing the facts. Because right here, he's listed as the son, and then right here, because Abraham dies, we have him listed as the head. me try to zoom in right here. So, see, Estella is his stepmother. And then we have Edward, Halvor, Joseph, Roy, Ida, Junior, and Eli. Isn't it fun? Isn't the name game fun? Now, here's the ship manifest that they were referencing. So it says that they were sailing from New York, bound for the port of Southampton. This is in 1949. And she is listed down here with a William Edwards. So she has changed her name. This is the record that they reference in the family tree, but she basically goes off the map. Don't know if she got married, who she got married to. I have no idea. Fact of the matter is, as far as looking up Abraham's parents, no luck. There's nothing. The reason why this is frustrating, you're going to see as we move over into this map here with this, yeah, basically the Charlie from It's Always Sunny, is that there is a very good likelihood, but I cannot prove it. Therefore, it's just a theory that this is the Blyden family, that there is a connection to the Blyden family of Liberia. If you guys listen to Subliminal Jihad and Demon Forces, I've actually been talking to them because they're very familiar with like the Blyden dynasty. And when I showed them that we got to this point of where it appeared to be siblings, doing the nasty, they were like, yeah, but we have missing records because we don't know where Abraham came from. Abraham E. Blyden. I know he died in 1940. No, he was born in 1883. But that's all I have. Would I like to take it further? Absolutely, because if you've known me for any period of time, then you know that I'm a fucking psychopath. And I want to be able to figure all of it out. I've already come this far. Right here, we have Junior. Okay, and there's his wife, Alma. She passed away not that long ago. And then we have Joseph Amos Blyden. He passed away in 2000. Was married to Myrtle Dunbaven. The darker grays are spouses, just so you guys know. Raymond Blyden passed away in 2017, and his wife, Irene Elvina Forbes Blyden, was born in 1930. Have not been able to find a death record, so I am assuming for the time being that she is alive. And then we have Halvor Ernest Habor Blyden, that is his full name. He died in 1991. And then we have Ida Vernice Blyden Epps, who married Eugene Epps. I have not found death records on either of them. I have no idea if they are still alive or not. Now, some of these I was fortunate enough to be able to get photos, but Elijah or Eli Vencito Blyden, that's another one of these Blydens because they're so freaking many, died in 1995. And right here, talking Pastor Roy. So there's Pastor Roy Emmanuel Blyden and his wife, Gwendolyn Blyden. And then we've got Edward W. Blyden IV, died in 2002. And his wife, I think it's Victorine Italia Blyden, who died in 1998. So see how these are all from Abraham, and then we've got Estella here. All right, so now we are going to dig into this entire thing. I'm going to show you guys. This is just a screen grab that I made, and then we're actually going to look at all of the records because the family tree, they blatantly put in the wrong person, which is really annoying. And I do think that sometimes this is done on purpose to confuse researchers, and people will just run with it instead of fact checking it, which this one was very easy to fact check. So in the family tree, they put Edward Wilmot Blyden, 1924 to 2002. Okay, we know that that all checks out, but look at the photo that they use, okay? This is not him. This guy was the 7th Secretary of the state of Liberia. Okay, this guy, very, very shady line of Bidens that are going on here. However, there are a lot of Edward Wilmot or Wilmoth Blydens because I do think that this Wilmot thing is a spelling error. And I need to find the other Wilmoth that's here. Okay. But just so you guys know, the family tree, they literally put this in incorrectly. This I found on Facebook. I just think that it's interesting. So today in USVI port history, Edward Wilmoth Blyden IV was born on St. Thomas on June 13th, 1924. He was one of 11 children born to Abraham and Estella Henley Blyden. On March 1st, 1941, he began his career with the U.S. Immigration and Naturalization Service as a messenger/janitor. He took leave to serve in World War II as a member of the armed forces in the U.S. Army. He was honorably discharged and returned to St. Thomas in 1946. Blyden resumed his former position at immigration and worked his way up the ladder by being promoted to a clerk, an investigative aide, an immigration aide, and an examiner. In 1972, he was promoted to the rank of an immigration inspector, which he credited as being his favorite position of his career. He enjoyed interacting with the interesting travelers he met each day. Blyden worked at immigration for over 52 years and was recognized as the agency's longest-serving employee. He was commended by Congress for his expertise, contributions, and distinguished work ethic in 1991. On December 14, 1993, the newly constructed Tortola Wharf building owned by the Virgin Island Port Authority was renamed in his honor via Act Number 5924. It was signed by Governor Alexander A. Farley on December 23rd, 1993. So I think that that's kind of cool, right? I think it's interesting at least, but you know that I want to pull all the records that I can. So here is his registration card. Right here, where's the year that we have on this? September 16th, 1943 is when this was stamped. Corporal Edward W. Blyden. He does not give a middle initial here, so that's really helpful. Thank you for nothing. He was 19 when he signed up. And all right, now we're bouncing around. We're doing the bouncing around part. So right here. Now, all of this information, this all matches. So this one right here, let me see if I can zoom in. Okay. So, Corporal, U.S. Army, World War II. Cool. Okay. There we go. We know he's born in 1924. All very good. Very, very good. Everything is matching. Everything is matching. And see, we see Estella Blyden. We've got Nola. That's grandma, right? We know that that's Candace's grandma. We got Luna Van Holten, Raymond Blyden, Roy Blyden, Estelle Blyden. Now, here is the only thing that is missing, and I don't know if this is the same person because what are the odds that there are two and he's a different first name or just using his middle name? That's also born in 1924. Now, I understand that he's listing a mother as Julia Blyden, but I don't have the official record, and so I can't read it. So I don't know. Is this the same guy? I have no idea. Did they do, what do they call it, like sheep dipping his record? Maybe. Maybe. They could have. I have no idea. Now, I do want to show you guys because I think that this kind of speaks to how popular this family is in the Virgin Islands, which also makes me think that this is possibly the same Blyden family, but I can't confirm it, so I can't say definitively. It's just speculation at this point. We are going to look at his wife's Celebration of Life packet that I found. Celebration of Life in loving memory of Victorine Italia Blyden, aka Vicky. So this is, we're not going to read the whole thing, guys, but May 1998. A Profile of Life, Victorine Italia Blyden, born April 9th, 1931. Obviously, I wanted to highlight the things to show how big this family is. So her husband, look, they don't spell it with an H. It's Mr. Edward Wilmot. Is it just a spelling error? Maybe. I have no idea. I have no freaking idea, okay? Look at all these people that are still here, though. 9 sisters, 14 brothers, 3 aunts, 1 uncle, a stepmother, 2 daughter-in-laws, 1 son-in-law, 10 sister-in-laws. And who are some of those sister-in-laws? Oh, we've got Nola, Ida, and Luna. 8 brother-in-laws. Abraham, Joseph, Roy, Raymond, a special niece, and 15 grandchildren. I don't even know this many people. Okay? I don't even know this many people, but obviously she was very loved in the local community. Right here, this is discussing how they met. Here's the order of service because, yeah, somebody uploaded this entire thing onto the internet. Okay? So, let's continue. There's the hymns, and there it is from him. Now look, he doesn't spell it with an H. So maybe, don't really know. Okay? Don't really know. But right here from the legislature of the Virgin Islands to Mr. Edward and the rest of the family. This is a letter, of condolences from Stephen Smoky Fret, Senator, Legislature of the Virgin Islands. So when I say that these people are very well known and this is a massive family, just like Candace's grandfather said, yeah, it's a massive family. So many Blydens. Now you have that. Hell yeah, it's a fertile family. I mean, look, like, it's cool, man. Do what you want to do with your body. I'm not here to judge, right? However, good God Almighty. I don't know this many people. Literally, I don't. Now, let's go to the next sibling. And sorry if this is boring, but whatever. I did all this, and so you guys are just gonna have to sit here and freaking do it with me. Nothing's gonna top the Sandy Hook stuff, guys. Sorry. Like, yeah, she lied about her parents' divorce. She's lied about a lot of things, obviously, or has misrepresented things. So I'm trying to figure out the family history. That's all. Do with it what you want. This is Pastor Roy Emmanuel Blyden, October 28th, 2021, from the St. Thomas source. Because, yes, I went in and pulled every single freaking obituary that I could find. He was a Korean War Navy veteran, also known as Pastor Blyden. I don't know if this is who her grandfather was referring to, as far as being a pastor that traveled everywhere. He enjoyed broadcasting Christian programs on WIVV Bequest, I don't know if I'm saying that right, PR, and extended his pastoral ministry to programs on Radio 1 and WSTA in St. Thomas, USVI. And his wife, Gwendolyn DeRiggs Blyden, is who he leaves behind. Here's all of his family, but his sisters, Luna Nibbs Fred and Ida Epps, right? Preceded in death by his father, Abraham, mother, Estella, sisters, Esther, Nola, Luis, brothers, Alfredo, Edward, Halvor, Abraham Jr., Joseph, Raymond, and Eli. A lot of family. Do you see why this is taking me so long? Let's get into Elma. You guys saw her on my little map. She just passed away. So this is from the Virgin Islands Daily News, November 5th, 2025. Elma Eugenie Pickering Blyden of Tallahassee, Florida. Preceded in death by her husband, Abraham Ernest Blyden Jr. Oh, do you remember how one of the kids was named Junior? This is Junior. Okay. And then again, looking through this, 12 in-laws, all these Blydens, Esther, Joseph, Ida, Pastor Roy Blyden, Halvor, Nola, and there's Eli or Elijah. And here's all the people that she is survived by. 7 children, 3 daughter-in-law, 1 son-in-law, 20 grandchildren. Holy guacamole, 11 great-grandchildren, 3 adopted daughters, 2 nannies, and some people that were at the hospital where she passed away. There's Roy's wife. This one I'm going to show you guys because this just shows a separate. This is a bit more of a distanced side of the family. I tried to pull every single person that I could find because obviously, like, yeah, her family tree is bigger than what I made, but do you see how many grandkids and offspring that is? Some of the family is in Georgia, but this is Rashawn U. Lane. He passed away. Not gonna sit here and get into all of that. However, his grandmother was Ida Epps, and his great-grandmother was Estella Blyden. That way you can see I've gone as far as I can go. I really can't go much further than what I have. Let me finish showing you what I have as far as the official records. Oh, because I found the cleaning business. I found the cleaning business from Grandpa. So let me show you guys that because I did find it. And that way you can see a picture of Gwendolyn and Pastor Roy together because you'll see where I got the photo of Gwendolyn from. This is Roy, Pastor Roy. He's right there, right? So that's his wife, Gwendolyn. So that's where I was able to find that. And obviously just highlighting this, his mother, this is from when he died, father Abraham, mother Estella, sibling Nola, because who am I looking out for? I'm looking for Candace's grandparents, right? Now, this is Candace's great-grandfather, and it's weird, right? Because we know that I haven't even looked, I haven't pulled in all of Robert's siblings, but there are a lot of them. But this is Dallas Lee Owens Sr., and this is his registration card in Fayetteville, North Carolina, October 16th, 1940. So this was when he registered. I cannot read that employer's name. I think it's W.A. Nalines. I can't read it. I have no idea. But just to show you guys right here, so that's all of Robert's siblings. And that's not even all of them. But we've got Dallas Owens Jr., Laura Owens, Thomas Owens, Robert L. Owens. This is Grandpa, right? We've got Troy, we got William, we got Betty, and we got Bobby. It's a lot. A lot of kids, okay? Very fertile. A lot of fertile myrtles. Margaret Wells Owens, who is the mother. But you will see on the family tree, because now I need to pull that back up. Let's get back into my anointed ass map. Let's scroll down here. So we've already went through all of that, right? That's beautiful. We've got that side. So now we're going to move over because we have Theodore Alexander Van Holten and Estella Henley Blyden. So there's Nola. And right here. So Nola and Luna came from Theodore and Estella. Everybody else came from Estella and Abraham on this side, right? I love this photo of Nola. I think she's so beautiful. I'm sorry, like I absolutely love that photo. But that's what we have on that side. And Luna, she's still alive. So when we go over here, and I'm sorry, guys. I have such a soft spot for old people. I think he's so adorable. So there's great grandpa, which is grandpa's dad, and he was married to Luressa Crawford Owens and to Margaret Wells. There is grandpa, very young photo of grandpa, quite the stunner. So we have Robert Lee Owens Sr., and then we get down into the actual modern day iteration of the family. There is Ronlee Owens. We remember her from the last stream, right? Veronica A. Owens Spears Cobb. And then we've got Dad, Robert Lee Owens Jr. And yeah, Mom's photo is super, super blurry. We're going to get into why. Because I do believe that this is Candace's mother. If it is Candace's mother, well, I don't really know what they're trying to hide, but it doesn't seem to be anything interesting. And here are all of the girls. Ashley Davis Mustell, Brittany Davis Owens. Have not figured out the last name of, again, I don't know if this is Dante or not, Brittany's husband, but I know that Gavin and Ashley are married. And then we have Candace Amber Davis Owens Farmer, born April 29th, 1989, which has been verified numerous times thanks to her boomer father wishing her a happy birthday, right? Because we love that. The last time that we went through all of this stuff, I was not able to show you guys everything that I had pulled because I was just trying to get through the information. And I was, the Sandy Hook stuff I was pretty nervous about. I was overwhelmed with, right? And I think that that's fair, especially given some people's reactions. So let's get into the censuses. So we have primarily, I'm looking at Nola, so grandma and grandpa. So we got grandma and grandpa. This is dating back to 1986 here, 1991 for him. And then right here, his birth, Dallas Lee Owens is his dad. Now these addresses become relevant. I'm still debating if I'm going to show you guys who I think might be her mom's side of the family, just because I have not proven it yet. But again, I already showed you guys this. This is grandpa, right? Grandpa had a lot of siblings. A lot of siblings, okay? A lot of siblings. And this is grandpa's birth record, specifically Dallas Lee Owens, Robert Lee Owens, September 12th, 1941. This is under the Francis Blake Lee family tree. Don't know why, but Robert Lee Owens, spouse Nola Alexis Van Holten Blyden Owens, father Dallas Lee, mother Margaret Wells, and death September 6, 2021 in Glendale, Arizona. So everything is checked out. Now, in this 1967 directory from Stanford, I was able to find his Johnny on the spot cleaners. So I was really excited about that because for whatever reason, we read that obituary. We're not reading it again. That's not what they listed it as, but that is what it was called, was Johnny on the spot cleaners. So I was pretty tickled to be able to find that. And then we get into the official census here with Dad. Because remember, her parents got divorced when she was in her almost in her 30s. She was in her late 20s. So Dad is still registered here in Connecticut in Stamford in September of 2004. And we know that he's born in, remember, we saw his little Instagram post about, oh, it's my birthday, just got shaved, all that stuff. Okay, January. Yeah, bada boom, bada bing. This all tracks. And again, because I did not get to show this last time, this is everything about Grandma Nola. That way you guys can at least see it. Her parents, again, Theodore Van Holten and Estella. All the Blydens, Abraham's the dad, right? The original Blydens. And we already looked at the aunt. Just going to show you that again because the aunt has been married a couple of times. Again, not judging. I don't really care. This was the only thing that I could find in the newspapers was in May of 2000 from the Connecticut Post. Tony L. Spears and Veronica A. Spears, they did some sort of sale of property at this time, 67 Victoria Court. And this is what we have for Ronell. All of this information is outdated, so I am not doxing anybody. So I do not care. But we have Ronell. We have him getting married in Stamford in 2002. He's still living in Stamford in 2008. He gets married at a different time in 2010. And then we have him over here up to 2019. Mother, Nola Alexis Owens. Mom, this on the left, Dad is going to cut the head off, which is really annoying. But that lady, prom right tech, didn't he say that he went to right tech reunion? 1980 Stamford, Connecticut. Well, just because he went there doesn't mean that she did. I think that they look similar, but I would have to leave that up to you guys because this is the only Evelyn Davis in the tri-state area that remotely matches the date of birth given on any of these records. So that's really, really frustrating to me because if I could have a clear copy of this photo over here, I think that I would be able to figure it out. And, you know, Evelyn V. Davis Owens, this is 2008 right here. This is them again getting married. Now, her parents getting married in, 1993. Well, were they asked to get married? I don't know. Because now I know for a fact that this is when they got married and not when they got divorced. You see how all of this stuff is really fucky? You dig? I have no idea. I do think that that looks like the mom. Can I prove it? I have no idea. Because those are the only two photos that I can go off of, that I've been able to nail down, that are remotely accurate. I have no clue. Hopefully somebody else smarter than me will be able to figure this stuff out. Because again, I'm going to try to get this wrapped up in one more episode and then be done with it because, quite frankly, I am tired. I'm really over it. This is a random article that I found. I hate to say it, guys, but and this is not directed to you guys, but since I will just be editing this for the YouTubes, you're going to have to just look at the screenshots and go find the sources yourself because I'm not going to spend all that time putting all this stuff together again because it's very time consuming. That's not going to happen. And when I'm done, I will upload a clean version of the mind map of the family tree. That way you guys can have it on the Patreon. This is from the New York Times, May 1st, 1986. Tutoring, A Little Help Becomes Big Business by Edward B. Fisk. We're not going to read all of this because I don't really care. However, I found somebody right there. We're looking for 4 months at the most, said Nola Owens, a bookkeeper whose 8-year-old son, Ronell, is working on his math at the Sylvan Center in Darien. Look at that! I found ya. That's the only mention. You see how scant these people are? Do you see how scant all of this is? They're very popular in the Virgin Islands, very popular. And here, it's like, there's nothing. Is it because of Candace? I think so. Is she ashamed of her family? I don't know. It kind of seems that way. I'm not gonna lie. It gives off that vibe. No, I don't think that she's going to address any of this. Does she owe me any answers? No, she doesn't. She absolutely doesn't. I'm not stupid and I'm not expecting it either. You know, honestly, I'm surprised that Benjamin Owen. I'm honestly shocked that someone with that big of a platform gave me credit, but and whatever. I mean, he was kind of being a dick, but it's fine. Like he was just like, I could tell it's really important to her, so I need to shout her out. And I'm like, well, yeah, man, thank you, because us small people out here don't get the credit. We don't get credit for our work. We have to plug ourselves. We have to do all of this stuff ourselves. So yeah, it does mean a lot. Let me pull up because it's on my X, and let's just get through this part. Because this is also going to be a little side-by-side exercise. And again, for the people that are on my X, I'm sorry, you've already seen it. However, so we are going to be looking at some more photos, but I need you to look at this and give me your thoughts, okay? I haven't done the side-by-side thing in a really long time, but now I've done it twice thanks to Candace. I've done it twice within the past week and a half, so thank you for nothing, Candace, because I feel really stupid when I'm having to sit here and do this like that. Don't know that is shame, but think that with as much as she calls everyone else a Fed, that she may actually be the Fed. Well, I mean, she does, she says a lot of wild shit. And I called it. People are starting to say that Charlie's not dead. You were here first. You heard it first. We predicted all of this, right? The royal we. I'm talking about me, because I don't do we speak. However, they have started talking about Kirk not being dead. What did I fucking tell you? Come on now. Come on. It's the dark arts. Now, this is how anointed I have been, if you guys have not been on my ex, because I do need your help, because I do think that this is absolutely the same person, and I honestly don't think that anybody can convince me otherwise. These two women, you just tell me, do you think that they look the same? Obviously, we have a costume party going on over here, right? And then over here, a little bit more politicking. And I'm not someone that likes to go off of faulty human eyes. This is why it took a lot out of me to even put this out there on X. The smile is very similar. I do think that she's had some work done. Hey, girl, no shame. I'm not talking about surgery. I'm talking about fillers. People think that you have to have plastic surgery for everything. You don't. I think that she's definitely had some fillers, maybe a little bit in her lips, maybe some, crow's feet around here. But you tell me if you think that that is the same woman, because I do. And then I will tell you why I feel that way. That woman, to me, looks very, very familiar. She does have a slight gap in her teeth. She does, but these are 5 years apart. A very slight gap in the teeth. But otherwise, the smile is the same. And that's why I think that it's the same person. Because your teeth can change, right? And it's unfortunate that this lady has locked down her Instagram, but you're going to learn why she's done that. So the reason why I ask is because this gal is allegedly, whoever she is, this mystery lady that does not have a name, that I just suspect that this is the same person. There's two important things in what I'm about to show you on this image from Dad's Instagram. So that's her. And again, this is 5 years apart, right? But right here we have Dad talking about, oh, what did his resume say? Quicken Loans. And I talked about non-relevant arrest records, right? But in the other photo of them together, he talks about her being his bestie. Is that his bestie? I don't know. Why is it relevant? Because I just don't think that there's a chance that two women that look just like that both live in Arizona and run in the same circles. But who am I to judge or assume differently, right? So there's No Name. Okay, look at him. He's a cool guy, right? Cool dad. But we also have Dad hanging out with Officer Tatum at a Blexit event. I don't really want to pull up the article, so we'll just pull it up right here. MAGA official and ex Turning Point employee accused of kidnapping a 14-year-old. What are the chances that two women who look exactly alike, sans a slight tooth gap, live in Arizona, likely run in the same circles because Dad is at this Blexit event, and this is going to court? I don't know what is true and what is not, but she is a assemblywoman and she is also working for Turning Point. You dig how I'm like not really into the coincidences here? So, is that the same person? No clue. I'll have to leave that up until she decides to unlock her damn Instagram so that I can compare photos. Because obviously, like, yeah, she's lost weight. I'm not like knocking, right? You know, she's whatever. A little more squishing for the pushing, you know what I'm saying? Everybody has their preferences. And again, she's cleaned up. It's 5 years difference. And also, one is at a costume party. But what are the chances? They look very fucking similar. And her presence on Twitter/X did not start until 2024. And she has locked down all of her social media. So I'm just very curious if that is the same woman. Because again, Dad was at a Blexit event, which we're going to get back to right meow. We're going to look at it right meow. There he is. Cool dad. And it seems that he's very close with his nephew, which I think is sweet. Again, dad can be sus, and he's still just a boomer dad. Now, this one, remember when we were reading through his resume? Nelson Partners, that was on his resume? Yeah, there they are. Further bolstering my argument where people are like, you just picked a Robert Owens in Arizona randomly. The fuck I did. Blexit, Arizona. There's dad wearing his hat from Candace's wedding. Make weddings great again. Sorry. But again, there he is with this Officer Tatum guy. This is in 2021, right? And there's Candace and Officer Tatum. Remember that photo from that article that we were reading about? The grandpa with George? Why didn't they name Officer Tatum? In regards to this Officer Tatum fella, because I haven't really dug into him too much, but he seems to be a bit trigger happy with saying stuff about what Candace has said, and these things pop up in my feed, which is another reason why I want to quit talking about Candace, because I feel like I'm getting psyoped by my own timeline, where, you know, he received confirmation of this assassination thing, right? And then people were like, oh, breaking, he said it, and then he's like, I didn't fucking say it, take it back, I demand a retraction. And it's like, bro, calm the fuck down, put down the cocaine plate, okay? Everything's gonna be fine. So I'm not really here to like get into him too deeply, but there is a different figure that I am more focused on. And that's this modern Renaissance man, right? But look, we've got right here Brandon Tatum, so Officer Tatum. Don't know who Jericho Green is, don't know who ABL is, but here we have Ty Smith, conservative panel, August 2021. So, modern Renaissance man. Allegedly, this is her big brother. I do not think that this is Lonzel that dad had a photo of. Could it be? I don't really know. If it is, then this dude has totally lied about who he is, but I can't prove it. And just to show, you know, like what kind of stuff he's into, he does the typical circuit of the RNC and the evangelical stuff, right? Doing a tribute to Charlie with the Republicans. Isn't that fascinating? So, if that is her brother, if that is the older brother, I have no idea. He would have to have completely lied. And I'll show you why. Because this dude I mean, a lot of these people give off Fed energy, honestly, quite frankly, at this point. It's like, far be it from me to Fed jacket everybody. I mean, there's certain people that I will, like BX, but, otherwise, I'm like, I try not to. The Daily Mail. How do I have 2 medical degrees if I'm oppressed? Father and radio host Ty Smith rages against critical race theory at Illinois school board meeting and demands that the nonsense is dropped. This is from June of 2021. So apparently he is the host of Cancel This on Cities 92.9, or was, and star of a popular YouTube channel. And allegedly, he got a little bit wild. In a pastel yellow shirt and khaki pants, a bold move, one might say. A bold move in general regarding fashion. But apparently it turned into a heated 2-hour debate where he's out here wiling out. But his YouTube channel, Modern Renaissance Man, he does have, I think, one other channel that's connected to it, which is more so focused on like being a father and, the family. But his radio show blog states that he was born in Decatur and grew up in a tough neighborhood, but managed to turn his life around. Well, if Dad hasn't seen Lonzel since he was, 8 years old, I don't know. You tell me, because I haven't figured it out, right? Yeah, so this is allegedly her brother. Allegedly. And he's super duper serial. But of course, we have people like Ted Cruz and Benny Johnson, who was the chief creative officer of Turning Point USA, sharing his video. And then he goes on to Fox. Father, theory teaches kids how to hate each other. I mean, look, there's lots of conversations to be had about critical race theory. I'm certainly not here to have them today. This was the only article that I could find that did not just use the photo. They actually used the entire screen grab from October 12th of 2020, where he does say that she is his sister, and they included that. Every single other article omitted that, and I don't know why. Is that her brother? I have no idea. You tell me. How many siblings does she have that we don't know about? And whatever, like, life is complicated. I'm not here to judge who's banging who and who's putting out babies where, but what are the chances that you have two, a male and a female, conveniently, that come maybe out of this family that are these sort of like cultural influencers, conservative influencers, right? That are shakers and movers who, if that's his real name, did he really grow up in the projects? I don't know. Maybe he did. I haven't been able to find anything about him. Why? Because his name is Ty Smith. Do you know how complicated that is? Could be Tyler, it could be Tyson, it could be a number of things. If her family goes back to the Edward Wilmot Blydens, then high-level political activity extends through her family all the way to the beginning of the Pan-African movement. Yes, correct, Nixon Bogain. That is absolutely correct. Well, it could be Tyrone, it could be Tyson, it could be Tyree. I mean, literally, there's too many. And Smith, that's like Robert Owens. You think that I'm doing this game again? No. Who knew that 4chan was so racist? I don't go on 4chan. But whatever asshole stole all of my research and put it onto 4chan, wow, is all I have to say. Wow. A lot of really racist people on 4chan. So, we're going to go ahead and we are going to look at this profile in regards to Farmy 2019, June 7th. Okay, June 7th, 2019. So this would be June 3rd, 2019. So, courting controversy. Tatler meets George Farmer and Candace Owens. Look at them, they're a power couple. Now, look, there are a lot of people that allegedly think that Candace is a dude and they use this photo as an argument for it. I don't think she's a guy. Like, people gotta stop assuming that everybody's a fucking transgender. Like, just stop, please. It's really silly. And if you think that I'm gonna sit here and read this entire thing, I'm absolutely not, right? And whatever the hell they did to Yee with the dentist, I have no idea. Right here, talking about English hedge funder George Farmer, ex-Bullington Club member. We're going to look at that too. And, it says here he's got clout. Yeah, obviously he's got clout. So it's not just her and her family, it's also him himself, right? But there they are. So here's the accurate story. They only met last December at the soft launch of Turning Point UK. A small reception had been planned at the Royal Automobile Club in Pall Mall to be hosted by the colorful John Mappin, a friend of the U.S. First Family and scion of the Silver and Jewelry Dynasty, except it wasn't so small. Mappin ended up dispensing champagne to 200 guests, among them royal insider Lord Plunkett. Such immaculate social figures as Robin Burleigh and Amanda Eliash squeezed in with the ragged-trousered reactionaries like Rod Little and James Dellingpole to hear Owens proclaim, "We are in the midst of World War III. It is an ideological war. We are fighting for Western values." Farmer was there, and Farmer was smitten. Uh-huh. Okay. Whatever you say. 'Cause that's not what you say. Now, where is it? It might not be in this article. There she is in the White House. Oh, yeah, here's more of her story, right? 2007, 18 years old, living with her grandparents. Because her parents had split up. No, they didn't. Maybe they did. I don't know. But guess what? They didn't get divorced when you were a little kid. That didn't happen. And now this whole settlement thing here with the Stanford's then mayor's son, I'm real curious about all of that. Okay, because again, I get it. Kids can be assholes. I'm not saying that they weren't assholes to her. However, I still think that it is very odd. The next evening, there was a dinner for a dozen people at Olive O'Carn in Belgravia, at which TPUK was instituted and Farmer was appointed acting chairman. He committed to paying for a London office for TPUK, and with his impassioned speaking style, he might have gone on to be a useful frontman. As it is, he'd keep the seat next to him reserved for Owens, who was late, and over the tiramisu fell in love so hard, he says, that nothing else mattered. Farmer followed Owens back to the U.S. later that week, joining her at the Republican conference in Miami and then at a Blexit rally in L.A. They had dinner 4 nights in a row, and she says, "It was like I had known him my whole life. We shared the same views. We had the same sense of humor. When he went back to London, we still hadn't kissed, but I was like, I'm pretty sure my husband just left." And here, again, giving all of this stuff about, her grandfather growing up on a sharecropping farm. Obviously, he's agreed with that from what we read from him. Owen's reaction to the Parkland High School shooting of 2018 was to join the National Rifle Association. Okay, so this is why Farmer is finds her to be such an inspiration. It's an odd thing that you would find that inspiring. And hey, I'm all about owning your own damn guns. But do you see all this weird shit that these people say? And maybe they just shouldn't do these interviews and run their mouths so much. I don't really know. It's in another profile and I'm gonna have to find it. And yes, hold my feet to the fire because I did read somewhere in one of these interviews that he said that it was not romantic. Aha, found it. Never mind. We're gonna do it right now. Fuck it, we're doing it live. Boom, found it. Right here, the Gospel of Candace Owens. This is when she was still working for the Daily Wire, April 22nd, 2023. Yeah, I don't have a URL on this. So, oh, this is the New Yorker. Sorry. Okay, so there we go. Now, let's skip down to page 10 to get to my point right here. Owens met Farmer at the London event where she made the Hitler remarks. Their encounter was brief, but he soon flew to Florida to see her to speak at a conference. Nothing had been said, Farmer recalled in 2022 on the Pints with Aquinas podcast. There had been no romantic overtures at all. Their conversations, he went on, were mainly about politics and trying to understand what she wanted to do in life. 17 days after meeting Owens, he proposed to her over the phone. And then they got married at the Trump winery. That's what I was trying to find to show you guys. Because why? That speaks to me, in my personal opinion, just a little bit, that maybe, in an arranged situation. Because let's not forget his face in the wedding photos and how absolutely mortified he looks. Okay? He looks absolutely freaking mortified. Get a better poker face, bud. Okay? Because you're not pulling it off really well. There are a couple of biographies out here about this dude. Some of them I found, somewhat accurate. Most people, know who he is. And quite frankly, he's not really my biggest focus. I think that there is some inaccurate information out here about him. And I think that this is something that people should consider when certain people are becoming very popular or things are kind of going into the zeitgeist is, are they trying to bury the search results? Because that does seem to be happening where you can't find old stuff anymore, right? Or like it's really buried. And so that's part of the reason why I'm grabbing some of this stuff is because I just think that they're actually trying to bury certain things. And it's not that any of this stuff is like necessarily salacious or anything. Right here is one biography from the way back from December 21st, 2024. That's when it was archived, obviously. I mean, I think she looks fucking great. I love that dress. Excuse my language. Absolutely love it. Not going to sit here and read all this crap, but yeah, his mom's name is not Jenny Farmer. Her name is Potts. They got divorced. And Lord Michael Stahel Farmer, obviously that's his dad. I think it's weird that he has a degree in theology, but obviously he didn't follow through on any of that. Again, I think that there's a lot to this dude that has not come out. And this is a number that I have seen referenced a lot of times is that he by himself is worth $180 million. Is this true? I don't really know. And it says, oh, he grew up in a slum. Doesn't this sound familiar? He didn't grow up in a fucking slum. Get the fuck out of here, okay? His dad is literally the Baron. And the school that he went to, St. Paul's School, a private school founded in 1503 and known for educating the British elites. He later earned a first-class degree in theology, majoring in politics, philosophy, and economics at the prestigious Oxford. Subsequently, he obtained a business management degree from a reputable university. Well, that's vague. What's reputable? Was it online? Because guess what? I'm not judging you if it was online, but I still would like to know. And obviously, I'm highlighting the Bullingdon Club and former CEO of Parler because there is some really, really, really weird stuff with Parler. Also, weird stuff with these other companies that he has founded, like Jigsaw Research, which was recently acquired by, I think it's called like A77, and then Redfield and Wilton Strategies, which does public opinion polling and market research, especially with political stuff. A little bit weird, a little bit odd. And there they are with the Don. The Don looks happy to be there. And then, he also has this other Red Kite group. Okay, so he's got quite a few companies. I haven't really found anything too engaging in regards to those companies, but I do think that it's odd that this is where he gets all of his money from. And, there's a lot of controversy in regards to Parler and January 6th and Parler's complicity with these feds grooming these people on January 6th. But go into Candace's chat next time and call her the Honorable Candace Farmer, because that is her husband's hereditary title. So that is what she should be referred to. Now, look, you know me. Or maybe you don't. Some of you are new. Okay. Oh, wait, we got to look at this. Is her husband gay? So, George Farmer has never publicly admitted or denied gay allegations levied against him. It was speculated he was bisexual after a fake tweet alleging Candace Owens' husband and brother had an affair was shared in November of 2020. In March of 21, Owens threatened to sue rapper Cardi B for reposting the fake tweet. The Photoshop tweet looked like it was from Owens' account, and she was claiming that her husband had cheated on her with her brother. And it said that it was believed the Photoshop tweet was circulating as a trolling response to Owens, who had previously criticized Harry Styles for wearing a dress on the cover of Vogue. I couldn't skip over that. I'm sorry. Because I thought that was really funny. Because, you would think that he would just admit that, like, he's not gay, right? If you've known me for more than 5 minutes or like you've been following my stuff for any amount of time, like, I think that the whole LaRouchian conspiracy theory about the crown trying to corrupt the United States through like the counterculture, Candace seems to be a bit more aligned with the crown. I'm just saying. So call her the Honorable Candace Farmer. Stop calling her Owens. Call her Candace Farmer. See what happens. I've had a lot of people send me some really interesting comments and screenshots and chats, and she deletes with the quickness. Milo said he's going to drop Fuentes gay porn tape. Well, Milo says all kinds of stupid shit. Milo says crazy shit. Milo's the ones that's out here going cross-eyed on Tucker Carlson, talking about how every homosexual person was abused as a child, like, and now he's straight, so he's shitting on gay people. And it's like, fuck off, Milo. You can't rewrite all of this stuff. We remember. These people are trying to engage in this revisionist history, and I'm just not really here for it. Now, what I would like to show you guys, because it was the thing that I had highlighted, and some of you may know it, some of you may not, and I'm not really here to get too deeply into it. This article I could not make work, and it was very frustrating. I tried like 20 times. So we're not really going to read through a lot of it because it did cut it off. But in regards to the Bullingdon Club, because again, it does seem like George is a bit of a scumbag, and obviously he's a huge Nepo baby, right? Was there gay stuff going on in the secret society? So the rules of the Bullingdon Club are simple. You must be rich, posh, sociopathic, misogynistic, secretive, and well-tailored. The Bullingdon Club is for wealthy young men at Oxford University whom, it is said, burn 50-pound notes in front of beggars as part of the initiation ceremony and trash restaurants and public houses after elaborate dinners, which they pay for in cash. And then you see how this freaking header right here keeps cutting this thing off, but a lot of prime ministers come out of there, a lot of the Labour Party, a lot of folks in the NHS. So I just wanted to show you guys this because I don't want you to think that I'm skipping something over. Yeah, so he was a member of the Bullingdon Club. And I have a photo of him in the Bullingdon Club to show you. Because it does seem like this is some sort of weird, I'm sorry, I don't care, like some secret society. It's the same thing with fucking sororities and, you know, fraternities, like Greek Row, that kind of crap. So this was a photo from the Daily Mail. That is a very young farmer. It says in 2012 it was revealed that George's dad funded his son's membership of the notorious Bullingdon Club at Oxford University. Are they actually burning 50-pound notes in front of poor people who are literally begging? Probably. Probably because these people are scumbags, right? And they don't understand what it means to struggle. They've probably never had to struggle a day in their fucking life. And I would argue that Candace hasn't had to really struggle. And I think that that's part of my beef because, you know, some of us have had to struggle out here. I've been homeless numerous times, and so throughout my life, and I'm just like, fuck you guys. Like, you guys are out here, you know, just misleading people, and it's really shitty. And because you're more popular, because you have a nicer setup, people think that what you're saying is more valid. I would highly fucking disagree. You don't know what it's like. And to sit there and burn money in front of poor people, and that's part of your initiation ritual, sounds like you guys are doing gay shit when the lights are off. Sorry, I'm saying it about our old man, okay? Not sorry. Not sorry at all. They're doing gay shit in the dark when the lights are off. But this is from, oh, I want to say that this is the Daily Mail, but I guess we'll find out at the end, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this one is a little bit more favorable. Oxbridge and elitism. But it does describe it a varsity recruitment arm for the front rank of the Conservative Party. And here's where I'm talking about this sympatheticness, right? The public perception is of a cartel of elite obnoxiousness. In practice, you really couldn't hope to meet a more confident and charming bunch of arrogant, upper-class, drunken fops. As one recent Bullingdon member told me, it would be much more interesting if it was massively secret and dangerous, like the Skull and Bones at Yale. Really? The truth is, it's all rather courteous and cordial in an old-fashioned kind of way. Yeah, you're full of shit. Right here, thought this was interesting. Rumors that wealthier members pay an annual stipend of up to £10,000. And yeah, they do have a reputation for vandalism and have to book these dinners because they have these 2 annual events. They have to book it under a pseudonym because these really nice restaurants don't want these guys in their restaurant. They have to sit there with a puke bag, and if you leave the table, you get punished by the club. What is that punishment? I don't know. Probably involves spanking or something else kind of gay. Maybe fucking Milo knows. And then right here it says, then there's the Bullingdon's committed and long-standing misogyny. It's not just the all-male exclusivity, more the tales of hiring strippers to preside at the initiation of new members at the annual breakfast. Plus the trapped, frantic, and vaguely sexual energy of the whole thing. The Bullingdon is simply a no-go area for women. These are teenagers almost exclusively from an all-male boarding school. background. It's no real surprise that some of the naive, hostile, and retarded attitudes fostered there resurface at a university reunion. You just have to hope that they grow out of it. Well, I don't really think that a lot of them did. And in other shows where we've talked about some of this stuff, what have they said? That these schools in the UK, especially these elitist schools, do foster, because they sexually segregate, some fake and gay stuff. And I ain't hating. You do whatever you want. Ain't my business. Get down. Good for you, because I'm going to die alone. So who am I to judge, okay? I am thinking these are they are totally butt wafer guys. Echo Cat. They are absolutely butt wafer guys. You're damn right. They're doing gay shit with the lights off, okay? These people are assholes. Candace wants you to think that she relates to you. No, she doesn't. She runs and talks a good game. And again, people can still like her and people can still listen. But I've proven that she's lied about her past. So is she really that relatable now? Really does take a village. The more people that archive this stuff, the better. That's all I'm saying, because they're going to memory hole everything. Because I did misspeak that, the resume was removed. It was just the cachet that was removed. But the cachet was removed from the search engine. It wasn't the resume itself. I have no idea if the resume is still standing at this point. It just seems like Candace is really ashamed of her family. And I get it. Families are complicated. But obviously your parents didn't do that bad of a job considering how fucking wealthy and successful you are. Because that's what these people care about, is money, right? They don't actually believe in anything. I just don't understand why you would be ashamed or try to hide it. I mean, the Sandy Hook stuff, I get. But otherwise, I really don't. And I think because a lot of people I know don't look, which is totally cool because a lot of people don't get notifications. And honestly, it just kind of has to become a habit in order to be reminded of it. And maybe you didn't see when I posted it here, but I am going to pull it up again just because it is weird. So the AI is agreeing with me. Technically, Grok has always been agreeing with me, even though Candy's fans were trying to use Grok against me. It has agreed with me, but now we are seeing that it's shitcoding it. So for those who didn't see it, and it's saying that her grandfather held the contracts or provided these services. No, it wasn't. The claim about Robert Owens being in charge of contracts Sandy Hook refers to her grandfather's businesses holding service contracts for the school district facilities. This is fucking AI now. What a time to be alive. How quickly the robots have changed their minds. I'm saving the rest of the turning point stuff for the final episode, because we just got a photo of her mom. Now that I know that I was on the right person, I don't know if mom has two records out here with two different birth dates, because again, even one that was born plus 1 year or minus 1 year within that time frame, there's no family history, there's no birth records, there's no nothing. So is there something in the family? I have no idea. Can't tell you one way or the other. All I can do is speculate at this point. And obviously, I'm not really going to speculate on my YouTube too much, because people are real fragile and real delicate about this kind of stuff, obviously. You guys have seen that Candace lied about when her parents got divorced. And it wasn't a little lie. It was a big lie. Even her granddaddy said that they grew up in a white neighborhood. Why is she trying to sell you something that's not true? The Honorable Candace Farmer. She deceiving people stateside and saying something else when she is on her hubby's home turf? Maybe. Because she is a part of that now. When you marry into that type of family, you're in that type of family now. She has cherry-picked her past and blatantly lied about other things. And again, people can like her. Whatever. I'm not telling people who to watch. You don't tell me who to watch or who to listen to, and I won't tell you. I think that that's fair. Mutual respect. Why do you think that she's telling the truth now about anything if she's already built her entire house of cards out of lies? She's absolutely controlled opposition, but Milo's out here talking about how Kirk isn't dead. And Candace is the one that said that he had a Catholic burial and people are arguing over whether because Erica was Catholic that she could arrange and plan that funeral and have Kirk buried, but there's people coming out now saying that Kirk's body hasn't been buried. So the royal we said it here first. That's what's going to happen. It's going to go full Kirk's not dead. Because I'm sure that you guys have seen that Turning Point has answered her in regards to all of her claims, and it's a lot of kayfabing stuff, and people are falling for it. People think that this whole thing is legitimate. Guys, you're being taken for a ride. You're being taken for a ride. Okay? Both sides know what they're doing. But it's like also like you can't blame everything on fucking Israel. I couldn't get this article to print. It is both sides playing the middle, and it was something that I wanted to go into, but again, I couldn't get the article to work. But it was talking about how January 6th, when all that happened, like Parler went dark. And that Parler, George Farmer's Parler, was heavily implicated in that. Well, guess what? So was Charlie. Because Turning Point sent 7 buses of protesters to January 6th. And now we have all of this stupid nonsense going on with this pipe bomber thing. And there are people to this day that do not want to acknowledge that January 6th was a Fed operation and that there are civilians, veterans, who certainly didn't do anything that deserves being in prison or in isolation, like with the fake Whitmer kidnapping shit. Isn't it just kind of weird that these people are, in their own varying ways, involved in this? Charlie sends 7 buses. Why 7? 7 Mountain Mandate? Who fucking knows, right? We have Parler, their involvement. I don't really know. They went dark. All the Scientologists that are involved, specifically Lee Dundas. And obviously, Mappin is pushing all of that crap too. From the people who brought you PatCon. Correct. I don't think that this is like an Israel versus the United States thing. I think that people have a poor grasp of history and are being psyoped. I'm overusing that term, but it's the best term that I can come up with right now. You're being psyoped into blaming everything on Israel. Israel's behind everything. And it's like, what the fuck makes you think that it isn't our own government? We've been doing this to our own people. And PatCon is a great example. But this shows that people have a really poor grasp of history, and that's what I'm talking about. People think they're like, oh, like this is a Trump thing. It's not a fucking Trump thing. Go pick up a book. Go read Aberration in the Heartland of the Real. Go learn about Timothy McVeigh. Go learn about PatCon. Go learn about Ruby Ridge outside of a Netflix documentary, outside of a Hulu documentary. Go learn about what the government does to its own people. Trump is just the sticker that is slapped on for this flavor. That's it. But it would seem to me that there is an invested interest from the crown in this sort of subversion. And again, this is why I said earlier, little bit of a LaRouchian vibe coming from the farmers. Little bit of a LaRouchian vibe, right? Because, like, do I think that they're corrupting anything per se? Well, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say that. Yeah, I mean, it's like, dude, sometimes you get LaRouche pilled. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You get LaRouche pilled every now and again. Okay? Is there a British plot to destroy America via the culture and, through various types of subversion? I don't know. We've got the Honorable Candace Farmer out here blaming everybody under the sun except Scientologists for what happened to Charlie Kirk. She won't utter the word Scientology, but her biggest fan, Mappin, is a high-ranking Scientologist. So why? Why won't she utter the word? We all know why. Because Mappin is her handler. She's not allowed. Because why should I believe otherwise? She's blamed the Mormons. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I love you guys. I'm so grateful that you're here spending a Friday night with me. It's getting late. I'm not. I can't. I have to walk away from the topic. I'm over it. I feel like I'm psyoping myself. I feel like I'm trying to catch, because it's, me and Echo Cat were talking about this recently, and it's It's a boiler. It's a boiler. What's going on right now? There's going to be a boiling point. It's a pressure cooker, and something is going to explode where Candace is either going to have to endorse Scientology or she's going to have to chastise it. And I don't think that she's allowed to chastise it. So I'm always looking out for it in that manner because I'm going to be keeping an eye on mapping. But the rest of it is they're wasting people's time. I'm hoping that I mean, I'll probably look into the stuff with the mom in my downtime, and I've got that video downloaded. I've got the LinkedIn profile saved. But am I going to spend another 26 hours like on mom? I can't. This was all exhausting enough. And it was honestly really disheartening that somebody from my Patreon took all that to 4chan. Like, that really bummed me out. But, you know, that rule is going to be in place. If you get a subscription just to cancel it or you pass it on to someone else, I'm blocking you and you're losing your money. I don't ask people to hit like. I don't ask you guys to share. I don't ask anything. I felt some type of way because of all the effort that I put into this by myself with no help. Nobody fucking helped me. And, you know, somebody went ahead and did that. No, and I know that I know that it's not you guys. I don't know who did it though. You know, my people that I know, that I recognize, I know. Because someone tried to sit there and be like, it's interesting that this was on 4chan one day before the live stream where I redid the Patreon. And I said, well, you know what? That's really fucking interesting. Because I did it on Patreon first. So I went and found it. I found the post. I found I have the username. And they did. They released it the night before and it said, this bitch glows. So whoever did it, respectfully, fuck you kindly. I'm not asking for flowers or for a fucking ceremony or for an award. It's just don't steal my shit. But you did. After I asked nicely. This whole topic has worn me out. And so, no, I am not going to spend 26 or 36 hours on Candace's mom. You guys are amazing for finding her. Like, that was the one thing that I could not find. And, you know, we're not worthy. I'm not worthy. Like, seriously, like, I'm not worthy. And I'm beyond grateful. I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time looking into that. I want to look at the Scientologists that are involved with Turning Point, touch on the mapping thing one more time, and then I'm just going to leave it be. Because, again, nobody has to answer to me. This isn't my truth. This is just the information presented, pulled together from all these different timelines and these disparate places and putting it all into one place. And if Candace wants to go out here and make demands about people giving answers for something, baby girl, that shit goes both ways. And I'm nobody. But I do think that people should hold her feet to the fire because she feels very fucking entitled to demand that of others. And I don't like seeing someone weaponize being a female to do that as a female. And I think that she's going to go full Alex Jones. Like, she's crazy. Kirk's not dead. And there's going to be a lawsuit from Turning Point. That's what I think is going to happen. If that happens, well, then guess what? It fucks people like me. Because while I do have people that help occasionally, and I shout them out if they want to be helped or if they want to be shouted out, people need to understand that I don't have a team. I don't have a group. I don't have any of that shit. This is shit that I do on my phone and my laptop, and I do it by myself. So when I say the royal we, it's like me saying it with the most fucking sarcasm known to man. Because I am being sarcastic. I don't have a we, it's me. And this is the hardest that I've worked on something in a really long time. And people have been really shitty to me. And that's why I didn't want to put it out. And that's why I was nervous about putting it out. And there is nothing that is going to top the Sandy Hook part. That's just a fact. But guess what? I'm not here for like things being juicy. I'm just here for things being factual. And if people feel entitled to bolster someone like Candace, who has millions of people that are watching her and millions of people that are plugging her and she's pulling in fucking bank, if people feel okay with bolstering her, asking some wild questions, some valid, and making crazy accusations, then people should have no problem bringing these questions to her and her audience. And I don't understand why people hold the small guy like me to a different standard than someone like her, the Honorable Candace Farmer. Do you get why the truther communities end up suffering and things like QAnon flourish? I'm sorry. It's because it wears out the smaller people like myself. When we see people with platforms that fucking big getting a free ride because people have become indoctrinated into the cult of personality, and I'm sitting over here doing this shit by myself, and people want to sit here and give me fucking grief and make every excuse under the sun for her, just admit that you're in a cult and that you don't care about the truth. Because guess what? Just like everything else, a broken clock is right twice a day. And Candace is a broken fucking clock. So she can be right twice a day. And she can still be lying to you about the motivations of why she does it. Because she has money and appearances and connections that she needs to maintain. You don't get bigger than Joe Rogan organically. And Matthew North called this out years ago. And I think that Matthew North I didn't know the guy, but I know people who did that were friends with him. And I'm just saying, I don't think that he would disagree that he would be seeing the exact same shit with Candace. Because all of this shit is a setup. For what? I don't really know. Whatever kind of weird Palantir shit they're going to roll out, because Joe Rogan is saying what's more virgin than a computer. So, of course, Jesus came from a virgin. That makes total sense. They are grooming you into their transhumanist death cult. Something that was called out a long time ago. And actually, I have 2 videos that I would like to show you. Maybe 3. I forgot about these. Because in regards to her whole Macron assassination bullshit,
I'm grateful that people no longer believe them. I'm grateful that now people are going to independent podcasts. And when we go on Spotify, you see like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens. That means that for holding on to just like basic human values and being willing to talk about issues in a way and not pretend that your audiences are stupid and not seeing what you're we've earned their trust, you know. And I don't want to fumble that ball. Like I want to always say, even if I don't know something, and sometimes I can't speak on it, that I don't know everything, but I'm willing to find out before I speak on it, or at least have the conversation and not treat you like you're an idiot and I'm like the authority.
Yeah, I just can't learn at a fast rate. That's one of my biggest issues, I think. Speaking about Epstein, right?
So that's one clip. She recognizes that she is new media. She has lied, though. Fumbling that ball, she has lied. Now, I included that little Epstein part because, again, she is the queen of the sin of omission in regards to not bringing up the fact that Mappin was in Epstein's black book.
Do you ever like get worried for your own safety or anything these days? Does that happen any?
I really don't. And it's definitely a consideration, like, because people are constantly saying to me, worry about your safety, get security. But I kind of think security is one of these things that you get for your own vanity, because my perspective is they shot JFK in a moving vehicle. He's supposed to be the most secure person in the United States. And so when you see people walking around and they've got security, I'm like, okay, maybe it makes you feel good, but at the end of the day, it's in God's hands. So
yeah, it's just, they can easily catch me outside of an Eddie Bauer or something, you know?
That's what I mean.
In a heartbeat. That won't be
that difficult. So I am extremely realistic about things like that. And I also think that there's safety in people even saying to watch your safety. Like if people are looking out for you and those sorts of things. I think we live in a different world now with social media and people that are way more invested in individuals, and the things that were able to happen like in the 60s couldn't really happen today without causing a major firestorm. So
you see what I mean when I say that I don't believe the Macron thing? Because that was 8 months ago, and she's shown no proof in regards to the alleged hit. Screenshots of a text message from a random person saying that they're involved in the government. Theo Von said Eddie Bauer because Candace shops in the men's department of Eddie Bauer. You guys know I love Theo, okay? Gang, gang. Like, I have a Theo hoodie, and I understand that Theo is in his own right absolutely a fucking limited hangout. It was very heartbreaking to learn that about his father, okay? I'm not here to get into that, but just let me process that in my own time, okay? I haven't watched him in a long time because of it. She knows that she has your trust, and she says that she's very realistic because they shot JFK. So why is she out here demanding that she gets protection from Macron, allegedly, when she's been poking the bear with Macron? Remember that article that I showed you guys? She had been poking the bear with Macron. And I'm not saying that Lady Macron doesn't look like Big Mike. I'm not saying that. Again, there's a valid conversation to be had there and a good argument to be made. But freedom of speech only goes so far. I think we all know that. I have one more clip that I want to show you guys. One thing that Candace will not come off of my radar for is in regards to Chaos, Tom O'Neill, and all this stuff. You know, she's recently talked about Courtney Love reaching out to her, and Courtney Love saying that like she was experimented on at the clinic or something like that, right? I think Courtney Love is shitting her pants because there's talk of them reopening Kurt Cobain's murder investigation, as they should. And she should be shitting her pants. But, you know, Candace has been a big pusher of chaos. And so obviously that's never going to go away as far as me keeping an eye on that, right? Because that's what I want to get back to is my regular process research, my Manson research, my Son of Sam research. Like, I need to walk the fuck away from this because I feel like I'm being psyoped. However, do want to show you guys this interesting interview that she did with Alex not that long ago.
Things that
SSRIs.
Jolly West was doing. Exactly. What
It gets worse
therapists
than
were he
that. It gets
seeing?
worse than that. It gets worse than that. In the thing that happened in Connecticut, where the mom buys him the gun and all that, the terrible shooting that did happen in Connecticut, he was given the gun by his mother legally, and then he was on SSRIs, and he was an intern at the CIA again, Adam Lanza. It's mainstream
What?
news. Yes.
What? Adam Lanza was an intern at the CIA?
He had been
That
approached.
is- Are you sure?
No, look,
I'm
yes.
from Connecticut, so I had never heard this.
Yes, let me tell you. They've tried to hide it. They admit he was visited by the FBI and CIA because he was supposedly hacking into computers. He was autistic and super smart on computers. And then he was, quote, talking to them about interning. But listen, the Unabomber, CIA volunteer for MK Ultra, LA Times, Associated Press. Folks, look it up.
That is correct.
The number 2 CIA mind control doctor in congressional testimony, Jolly West, who died, I guess, like 10 years ago, but he was Tim McVeigh's doctor while he was in Terre Haute, Indiana. But that's where he finally got executed. And then you've also, I mean, it just goes through all of them. Sirhan was drugged up and given amnesics, and then they confirmed he shot the gun, but it's not the one that hit RFK. He was shot from behind by, again, a skunk works worker with the CIA who was brought in to augment security. So the same story there. And I can go through every one of
Same
these
for
cases.
John Lennon. John Lennon also on the list, the guy holding the catcher in the rock.
You see what I mean about that duper's delight on her face and having that conversation? She has a bit of duper's delight. Adam Lanza was not a fucking intern for the CIA. When we went into the deep dive, like mine-noided stuff with Sandy Hook, we read that in an article. Not him being an intern, that what had happened was FBI and CIA agents showed up. That's what they showed on the screen, but she's still sitting there and she's just got this smirk on her face like, yeah. I'm all about people being able to say what they want to say, but when you have a platform that big, it's irresponsible to spread information like that. And this is what I'm talking about with Alex Jones being full of shit. Do I really think he's Bill Hicks? I think that it's a fun conspiracy theory. I think it's a really fun conspiracy theory, and I've seen a couple of documentaries that make some pretty convincing arguments. Yeah, the comedian Bill Hicks. I'm just saying, there's some weird videos where it's like Joe Rogan when he's really young with Alex Jones, and they're talking about like him being Bill Hicks, and they're all acting really weird. I'm just saying, it's fun. It's not serious. I'm not hurting anybody by believing it. And I'm certainly it's not a hill I'm going to like die on. It's just if people bring it up, I'm like, yeah, I think he's Bill Hicks. It's fun. And maybe I'll try to dig up one of those documentaries and download them and upload them here. Bush did Helen Keller. I'm just saying, Morgan Freeman is Jimi Hendrix. I'm just saying, there's a semi decent argument that people have made about Bill Hicks and Alex Jones. That's all I'm saying, guys. And again, I've watched all the Sandy Hook documentaries. I still think that it was a black op and that things went to shit. And I do think that people died. I just don't know who died. I don't think that anybody does. I don't think that Adam Lanza was, an AI creation out of whole cloth. I think that there's just something real fucky that happened that day. And yeah, it's fun to think that Bill Hicks is still alive. He's just on Ozempic and got a tanning bed in his house. And photoshops himself having a Thanksgiving turkey with the chick from Euphoria, the blonde chick with the really nice jugs. Because that happened on Thanksgiving where Alex Jones was using AI and doing AI photos of all these people, but he put her in it. And I was just like, okay, well, I guess this is what Bill Hicks is doing. So that's all I have to say about it. We've been going for almost 3 hours. I think I'm going to leave it here for now. I'm glad that we were able to end on a bit of a more lighthearted note. Yeah, he probably would have a better act. I think Jones stole Hicks' act and reproduced it like some awful Discordian Church of the Subgenius clown shit. That's a good point, Nick Simbo Gang. That's a very good point. But when you watch some of those documentaries, I'm like, well, fuck, they kind of have a point. They kind of have a point. And that's what the Sandy Hook documentaries, a lot of them, they have a fucking point. But then you hear people where they're like, well, I know a guy. And it's like, well, everybody knows a guy that knows a guy. The fact of the matter is that nobody knows except for Candace's dad. Candace's dad knows more than everybody else, including everybody in this fucking chat, everybody on YouTube. Candace's father knows more than 99% of the world's population about what happened at Sandy Hook. And that should put her entire investigation of what happened to Charlie Kirk into question, especially since she is now having these people on her periphery coming out and going, where's Charlie's body? And is Charlie even dead? Because if Daddy was a part of the original, it was a hoax. Nobody died. Then that means that she did all of this the entire time. For 3 months, she has led many people, including people in this fucking chat right now, on an emotional roller coaster, pretending to be on some truth hunting mission about her dead friend. Because if Charlie is alive, and that's a big if, I'm not claiming to know one way or the other, if he is alive, she knows that he's alive. Because, again, I ended it like this last time, and I'm going to end it now like this. I would bet my last dollar that there have been conversations over the dinner table between Daddy Owens and Alex Jones about what happened that day. And maybe Norman Pattis was there making them a drink. It wouldn't surprise me. But I'm going to leave it here for now. And again, tomorrow we're going to do Sloppy Toppy PsyOp Saturdays, get back in the schedule of things. This I'm going to edit. I am not representing it onto YouTube. This is going to go out as a cut down, shrinked premiere. But I'm going to leave it here for now. I hope that you guys have a beautiful rest of your night. And I will talk to you guys very soon. Thanks for being here.